them getting to game 5s again and again and again, and persevering despite being the underdog. And for DRX, this team was reasonably expected to, at the very least, make playoffs. I don't think anyone was thinking that they were going to be top tier, as there it is. Pure respect to all reliable. And also, as the desk pointed out, Dylan is considerably worse on anything than Sante, so...
It's respect, but it's also like...
It's a good choice.
What else can you play? Showing a little bit of, like... I don't know if I can even really call it disrespect, but it's kind of just like pointing out like, hey, you don't have that deep of a champion pool, so if we ban this away, it's actually huge value, and normally it's not.
Hey, Sign is still available, okay? They're all reliable, there's plenty of picks. Watch some B1 Sion.
Well, they're not on blue side, so that would be very interesting.
Never mind.
Sejuani even going to be taken off the board. Not happy with the way last game went.
Makes sense. The Sejuani, I don't think you ever want to prioritize either in Ferris. Caitlyn, both still open. Available here. Caitlyn is going to get taken away. A early Varus priority does make sense here. Could opt into that.
You know, I really liked Beryl on Rel.
Yes.
The Renata Glass not nearly as strong. Just pick Lee Sin and then go Aphelios Thresh, please. Like, I'm ready. My body is ready for this team to play Aphelios Thresh. Like, yes, Keria is the best Thresh in the world, maybe the best player in the world, yeah. But, like, you don't have to be the best player in the world to play that matchup either. Like, sometimes you just throw a Lantern to Aphelios and it's good enough. But either way, my wants aside, Lucian Nami is going to be the choice for Nongshim.
So he's just rotating for some jungle champs.
Rek'Sai counter pick.
Lucianami does make sense. Looking at Peter, we'll get locked in here, just showcasing that. If this goes to Juhan, you know, there's some risk involved, as it will be the handshake, as has been many a time. And with how these two teams have played thus far, I'm going to favor the Zeri and Lulu side of this matchup. Because I don't know to what extent Nongshim is going to be able to utilize the aggressive potential of this Lucian Nami lane. And yeah, we're back on the rails, everyone. The previous two games were an anomaly, and we are back in the safe and comfortable place where we were for the last 6 weeks.
There's nothing to say.
Just letting it
That's
resonate.
It. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the next thing to happen, so we have, you know, something to mention.
Gnar, Renekton, Vi, and...
Okay, Rascal's playing Lee Sin, they say.
That is a Gragas ban. Another... Are they going to ban Gragas and Sion here? I think if Dundun locks in Renekton, that's a big win after his first game. Provided that Nongshim don't ban away Jax here. Okay, so they're spreading their risk. If this is a Juan Lee, then you can pick the Renekton and not face Jax. And if it is the Rascal Lee, then I think the Renekton should still be fine, provided that Dundun does a better job in the early game, but Lee not going to be nearly as scary as the Jax in the first few levels. Or do you?
What's the ban here?
DRX just ban it away.
Ahri.
Ahri. Okay.
I mean, the Vi is not available. They already picked Wukong, but giving a little bit of love to the Ahri buffs, I suppose, saying, okay, this is a pretty strong pick, as Renekton is back for Dundun. At least this time he doesn't have to play into Jax.
Might be the Gnar, also not a very fun matchup for the Renekton. And what is going to be the pick from... Oh, that's very stable. It provides you with a front line that you might be lacking other words. In case of emergency, break the glass. Ornn locked in. Is it going to be a Fiesta Lissandra? I would love that.
I don't know if...
Yeah, I would love that, actually. I know he's played it in Challengers as well.
Okay, well, in that case, seems like a pretty good spot to pick it up here.
Wukong and Lysandra and Renekton, that's a good topside with Lucianami.
Yeah.
This is a comp that has a lot of agency when executed well. We saw D plus Kia run a very similar comp and stomp with it. But this is Nongshim. They are they are 10th place.
Yeah.
And D plus Kia is second.
Yeah. Rascal on Ornn after the way Game 1 went specifically, even Game 2, I'm just a little bit disappointed. I feel like, you know, you had an excellent opportunity to get a more aggressive counter pick for the Renekton. He already proved he could do it on the Jax. Jax is not the only pick that can do something to Renekton. So instead, he's just kind of on, I'm going to upgrade Duck Dom's items duty, which I feel like they could have used Rascal a little bit better, to be honest. But and I know that Ornn does more than just, you know, upgrade items, guys. But
yeah, bold of you too.
I don't know. And he is the Mage Warlock Assassin in the top lane, but at the same time,
no, I
would have rathered something a little bit more aggressive, but
I get where you're
not
coming
here in
from,
Game 3.
Veldas, but with how these games have been going, I don't mind erring on the side of caution. Whoa. And DRX have an incredible amount of scaling power with a frontline Ornn and the Zeri. We know that Nongshim do kind of struggle, even in the last game where they had a very big lead as a... Aww.
This is top diff, as the guy holding the Nongshim sign is pointing to his friend who's a Nongshim fan. So he was a DRX fan, and he said top diff. We'll see if that comes to fruition here in game number 3, like game number 1, or will we see a totally new piece of the rift? Let's jump onto it for game number 3. So in the last game, Duck Dom was able to hit 999 kills. Do you think he's going to get his 1000th kill here?
Yes. I think he'll be able to get 1 kill on Lucian.
All right, I'll hold you to it. No, he's not playing Lucian.
Oh,
It's okay. He's playing Zeri. There's only one other option, so.
Thanks, Veldas.
Yeah.
It's been a tough day. For me personally, I mean,
oh, okay.
I'm having a great time with you. As Nongshim, with this composition, if you count the game that we played earlier today against the where D+ played a very similar composition against Hanwha, it was very swift and very merciless. And DRX, all they need to do is avoid that specific scenario. Early snowballing is a big risk. As if that Conqueror gets proc, that's... Oh, no.
Remember, they opted into this. Well, and it didn't have to go this way.
Well, that's my main thing. Like, I think Ornn into Renekton is completely fine.
Yeah,
like, we've seen this matchup a million times, but...
When you find the Renekton in the brush, pretty far away from the lane, he will run you down. This is the first pick, the first time Rascal has played this in 2023.
He used to be one of the big Ornn guys.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was an Ornn guy back in the day, but Rascal especially.
That and Renekton.
Yeah.
Dunun getting a big early lead here. Do note that Sylvie is not pathing towards this top side, even with Rascal being as low as he is going to hit level 2, and diving in Ornn is always a tough endeavor. Not going to be the case. No spot on Sylvie, but they do know that he will be on the top side of the map, just by the virtue of him not showing up on his red buff just yet. Opposing sides here for the jungler, so Dunun can keep playing aggressive, knowing that Sylvie is there. And with Dunden invading, they will have a decent amount of vision. They will be aware. You see the ping go down, so they know where Juan is. Not that it matters. Vital and Peter are close underneath the turret, so as long as they are not in dive range, they should be completely fine.
So, Chronicler, we learned about one Dutch river. How about another one? Well, we learned about two.
Already want to go there?
Yeah.
Is it already river
It's already time, yeah. I mean, you know, the junglers are avoiding each other. It doesn't look like anybody's going to dive anytime soon.
I'd rather talk about Dutch cities as opposed to rivers, though, because people will be more incentivized to visit cities than they are rivers.
Okay, sure.
And everyone only knows the single, you know, the Dutch capital, Amsterdam. Everyone's familiar with that one, but there's a ton of other great cities. As we actually have a GSUN question. Why is orange the national color of the Netherlands? Because our royal family is called the Oranges. Yeah.
They're called the Oranges.
Yes. Well, from orange, but effectively, yeah.
The Oranges?
Well, in Dutch, yes.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to clarify that. Okay.
Yeah. And I do actually think that the Dua Hill from the, and this is me kind of blanking on my own country's history, but you know, it's been a while since I had high school history. From the Orange region in France, originally. So that explains that.
There you go.
Yeah. But, yeah, I personally, we'll talk about Dutch cities. I love Rotterdam. I think Rotterdam's really underrated.
Yeah.
It is it's a bit rough around the edges, but I do think it's a beautiful city. As GSUN says, thank you. You're welcome, GSUN. Don't pin me on that though. As mentioned, it's
like totally wrong. You just made it up.
Well, no, it's definitely
you just like made up a history
No. So I do know that that's what they're called.
The Oranges. Yep.
Yes, and I also do know that.
Uh-oh. Didn't had a ward in that brush.
Ooh. Rascal also with the grass build will have a much less lethality, as we have seen since, I don't know for how long, the level 6 cheese with Ornn with his brittle procs and his ignite. Of course going for grasp into the Renekton, but with how the early game has been going, like Rascal's lane state is really bad. Like this is pushing away from him. Dunden can just set up a freeze. There's nothing that Rascal can do. They don't know where Sylvie is, and as long as Sylvie doesn't show in vision, Rascal can't really walk up.
Yeah. Also, the bottom lane, it was actually an advantageous trade in favor of Vital and Peter before. As here we go, Dominus procced, trying to just get as much damage into Rascal as possible. He does have 2 Ruby Crystals, so not going to be quite enough damage to take him down, but still a good trade here for Dunden as Rascal tries to trade back. It's level 6. But right now, this is owned entirely by Dunden in the top side.
And the information of where Sylvie was the saving grace for Rascal there. Knew that he could play more forward and was able to get the crash, or rather to break the freeze. But the problem is that now Dunden has actually been able to get his bounce. And I don't know. He will teleport, opt into the teleport towards the top side of the map, as Rascal is going to set up a little bit of vision in the river, but not going to be able to do much more than that. And now Dunden can just keep denying Rascal from these waves, and with all the focus being towards the bot side of the map, I don't expect there to be any difference. Although Vital and Peter are really getting pummeled in this 2v2, which is not a good look. We do know that it can definitely be Zeri and Lulu favored in the early levels, but falling this substantially behind is rough.
Okay, trying to go for it once again, as he did just get Ignite. The barrier's just about to come off cooldown here. The first trade was pretty decent for them, but then Duck Dom and Barrel just back, didn't miss much, and got a Vamp Scepter for Duck Dom.
And Fate threatened by the existence of Lissandra as Vital.
He's going to get slowed up by that Glitter Lance, and that means he just has to run away. He'll used here by Barrel, though. It's going to be down for the next trade. But they're definitely in a very nice spot. Duck Dom's going to hit level 6 first, so definitely full control here to the DRX bottom lane.
Gonna maintain the pressure here. Duck Dom with his ultimate needs to be respected, particularly because Vital doesn't have his available just yet. Peter actually hitting earlier 6 As sure Vital will get it off of this last minion. Oh, not even. It's not a great look. A little bit of damage comes down on Fiesta, but it's all about the 6 spikes. Sylvie and Fiesta have a ton of power here. We know how snowbally the Lissandra can be, but you do need that initial kill. There's a lot of slippery members on DRX with the LeBlanc, the Lee. Dundon does a prio and is up a level. And we might have straight up 5v5 Valdez.
Everybody gather for the first fight of the game. This is what it's all about.
Last year?
Yes, this is last year, in fact. As here we go, big Orin lineup into Polymorph. They're trying to just get on top of Dundon, and down he goes. First blood over to the Zeri Duckdom. In a great spot, they pick it up. To DRX, not stolen away. And now DRX, they get a massive lead from this.
Disaster.
Hey, Duckdom!
Hey!
Congratulations, the 9th ADC ever in the LCK to pick up 1,000 kills. A huge milestone for Duckdom.
Also the best person to have your gold on when you're DRX, so that's a big win. With the Zeri, snowballing is always a great boon. And remember how Dundon was ahead?
No.
Well, he's not anymore.
I don't remember.
But he was. But not anymore.
I don't remember that.
Don't remember him being ahead?
Yeah, no.
Never? Never happened?
Not anymore, no.
As Dundon getting caught off guard here, and what's crucial is he's too far up because they don't have their AD yet. So the rest of Sylvie, Fiesta, and Peter can't go in here and try and salvage this fight because Vital isn't there, and even if he was, he's level 5!
Yeah.
If your Lucian is level 5 and behind, why are you contesting? And this is a question that we asked ourselves so many times last year, and we never got an answer.
Yeah. Well, some questions are better left unanswered, Chronicler. As here is John's going to drop down the Rift Heralds here in the mid lane. Fate to pick up a large chunk of cash. A full 175. Feeling pretty good about his chances in the mid lane, as even those early trades were actually going in his favor. He's not behind in any sense in the mid lane just yet. So now 2,000 gold the lead here to DRX, and also take a look at the Drakes that have been taken and the one that is about to come up here. As long as it's not Ocean, we will have a big Drake as Sylvie spotted. Juhan forces the Cyclone out right before the Drake.
And here's the real kicker, is that if you're not ahead with the Nongshim comp, if you're even, you're also behind. But they're behind. They're 2,000 gold behind. So they're behind with a composition that needs to be ahead.
Yeah.
Into a incredibly well scaling comp. That the one upside is that they have that one dragon, but based on how the state of the game looks right now, they're not getting a second one. And Rascal has been able to weather the early storm, and now look, the situation is just flipped, right? Like Rascal can just stay underneath his turret, farm up safely. Yeah, he's a wave behind. Who cares?
He's on.
Yeah, he's on. Doesn't matter at all.
What's it gonna be? Hextech Soul.
So that is
a
small upside for Nongshim, because it might mean that Linden or Fiesta can get into the enemy backline. That's a win.
True.
That's the only win.
Hextech Rift.
Oh. Yeah, the Cassante ban is really getting a ton of value here.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a distinct lack of orange representation on the Rift?
I'm
just curious.
I'm not.
Okay, well, we're going in on this one. Sylvie in a little bit of trouble as the Dominus, they're trying to burst down too hot, but the Wombo combo is there. As they certainly have enough knockups between Ornn and Lee Sin together.
Things looking tough for Nongshim. As that's gonna be more plates. Even if Dundon does teleport like with his Gore Drinker, it's not like Rascal is going to care. He's just gonna get this. Look, he doesn't. He doesn't
so
mind.
tanked.
He just has a Sunfire Cape, but that's enough.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
And the worst part for Nongshim is that with this composition, you know, when they hit their one-item power spikes, they can try and look for some plays. But anything short of like getting decisive victories is just going to prolong the inevitable, as Sylvie already didn't have his ultimate because of the force that Juan found earlier. And then Juan, beautiful two-man bouncy castle.
Beautiful.
And this is Renekton and Wukong trying to damage, Rascal actually takes 0 damage because he has a Sunfire Cape into 280 characters. Oh, yeah, you got to try and force something.
All right, Beryl has Flash. She's able to get out of that one. Juhan with the Wild Growth. The Zing goes vital really aggressively, trying to finish this one off, as now Fate's going to have to hop the wall as well. Everybody on the side of DRX, they go deep. They're not able to be taken out.
Oh, no. You need those kills, Valdez. You really need them.
Oh, boy.
And instead, you just flash. 2 flashes for nothing. And the saga of Nongshim is about to take a dark turn, Valdez.
Yeah, it's a rough spot for them. I mean, they used a lot to try to get that to happen. And that's really the biggest issue at the end of the day. The Ornn is actually getting really fed in this game. There's 2 plates were taken down, but only 1 was gained by Dundun. And Rascal soon will be immovable in the top side.
I'd argue he already is. He's proxying waves. Well, he
there are
be doing
3
that.
of them up there.
3 people. Yeah, you have Juan, but still should take it a little bit easy.
I mean, one of the people is Peters, so.
Yeah, who is a fish, a threatening fish.
True.
Valdez. Can't underestimate the fish.
Very true. Fish are very important.
So you were asking me something about orange earlier?
Yeah, the orange representation. It's not like a lot of items that are the color orange.
Well, there's
We have Gnar.
And we have Gnar. And Sunfire is like an orange.
Lee Sin's got like some orange abilities.
Yeah, but I don't particularly love the color orange. It's not my like.
But it's your national color.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't matter though. I'm not. That's. I don't love it.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not a huge fan.
Sure.
It's a bit too in your. I like my favorite color is forest green.
Forest green.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot of that here on the Rift.
Oh, I'm in a great place. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's a nice little wombo combo this time from Nongshim. They try to take down Juhan, and the double Cyclone is pretty massive, actually. Rascal is killable, it turns out, as they don't quite kill the carries in the back line. The culling will do a nice number to Duckdom here, as he is looking to go forward once again. Has that ult up. And okay, the W does come in as Fiesta tries to force it in onto the Zeri and turn this one around, as Duckdom is going so deep and nobody can take him out. As even Fiesta will also be taken down. DRX are able to take this fight even after the beginning of it.
Great attempt at a Hail Mary there from Nongshim turns into absolute disaster when everything gets thrown into DRX, but the crucial members, they stay alive. Going for this objective is one thing, but I actually love this. Like, you gotta try something. You're not gonna win the game otherwise, but it takes so long to kill Juan and Rascal that now, like, Peter can't join this fight. Dundun is dead. Vital is not able to get enough damage done with his ultimate, and then Dogdom flashes forward here, and I think they get away. But then they go for the re-engage, and that's what ends up costing them. Sylvie can't join that fight at all. So they are effectively down a member, and if Fiesta would have just played that a little bit slower and get out there, like, we have seen teams deal with the Zeri. Like, after she uses her ultimate and flash and E, you can actually kite her out very efficiently, right? Like, I don't know about that one. You can do that. That is a distinct possibility, but they didn't. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's just Ludens. So, having a pretty good time with that.
Wow.
Is our LeBlanc player Fate, once again showing up big here in this game. And this will be a free Hextech Drake over to the side of DRX. At least Nongshim were able to get the bounty turn in the top lane.
Which is why you see a little dip, just a little dip there to get some kills, to get the turret, and then that's the end of it. And the bounties are back. So I don't know if they left, but generally, you know, when you're not too far behind, you get the bounty, and then you get a little bit of time, and then it leaves. But they're still here, Veldas. They are still bountying it up, and I don't see a lot of ways back in for Nongshim. you're really counting on Dogdom to make like colossal errors. Like he has to be eating into Fiesta, Sylvie, and Vital.
Fiesta. Fiesta's like, I want to get the sick angle. Nobody's going to see it coming. Goes straight onto the control ward. That, of course, he didn't know was there, but now that means he's just on the run. And this Lysandra is not going to be flanking anytime soon.
And what do you do in this situation when you're DRX? Or when you're Nongshim? Oh my god, I swear, Valdez. Oh, this game is throwing me off.
Yeah.
Nice sidestep from Dundun.
He doesn't have flash. He's just waiting for another way to get over the wall, essentially. Although Dominus comes in and Barrel's just flashing away. You will respect it here. But the turn into the enemy jungle. They're going to get the knock up here onto the Lysandra, into Polymorph, into another one. But the self-ult here from Fiesta keeps him alive for just a moment, but not quite long enough. So everybody just running here on the side of Nongshim. Flash on in as looking for a follow-up. Rascal can't quite get in there as Juhan goes a bit too far. But that's okay.
It doesn't end up getting punished. Doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things. Definitely need to make sure you don't keep doing that. But Rascal, now level 13, is very soon going to start giving out those upgrades. And it starts with Rascal finding Dundun, is up a level. Nice sidestep on the first few objectives, or on the first few skills, and stays alive for a pretty decent amount. This is still a Renekton with a level 2 Dominus. And then this is where trouble arises. They are forced to go back into their own jungle, which is the perfect lineup for the ultimate here from Rascal. And Fiesta, even with all the survivability, is going to end up going down. And then Juhan gets a little bit too hypey, gets hit by the Cyclone there and ends up going down. And gives go over to Vital. So that's a small win. Which is nice for Vital.
Little one, you know. Got to take it one step at a time. Nongshim only about 3,000 gold behind. And at this point in the game, it is, you know, it's substantial. It does matter. DRX still definitely in the lead, but you get a kill onto your AD carry. You never know what can happen next, especially in a bit of a messy series like this. Just got to wonder, you know, where are they going to take their next fight? Well, almost had that question answered for me as they decide against this one. DRX, though, they are going to be the ones that start this as they get in onto Fiesta once again, who does have flash. Just going to go for the self-ult here. As do they have any follow-up? Not quite. Fiesta just going to flash away.
And that is a lot of cooldowns used just to keep Fiesta alive, and only the Ornhorn on the enemy team.
Vital. Just ice skating.
Playing it fast and loose, but they are distracting DRX from picking up the Baron. And as long as they don't get Baron, there is technically a way. Oh no, it doesn't look up.
No. Okay, well, it's going to be a bit of damage, but actually it's more into Fate as the clone box a bunch. If not for that, he would have died or have been forced to flash.
Vital really trying in this one, Valdez. Giving it his all. And DRX maybe deciding that trying to hard force into Nongshim, not the way to go. As there we go. On the cannon. Level 14 hit for Rascal.
All right.
Feeling great. As his Radiant Virtue.
What do you think he's going to upgrade first?
I would say probably Dogdom's. Probably the Shield Bow. Okay, would be my guess.
I'm gonna say Luden's.
Yeah, it's one of the two. I think the
definitely is. I mean, not 100%, but you know.
Well, I don't think it's gonna be Gordrick or Shirellia. So
no, I don't think so.
I think we have a safe 50-50 split. Luden's obviously is a very high value upgrade, and you also have a AD heavy team, so going for the buff on the AP source is quite nice.
So it's a great spike right now, you know, like we don't have the crit item just yet for Dogdom. I mean, we have other crit items, but
it's almost no MR on the enemy team.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice, you know. Little knock up as they really just love hitting this Lysandra. It's Fiesta doing a good job of positioning in the front. It's one way to look at it. As what will it be? It'll be the shield bow. as the choice. It kind of makes sense, you know, you gotta fed Zeri. It's where their bread is buttered.
Yeah,
not a bad idea.
As long as Zeri doesn't die, which now will be even harder.
Yeah.
You win the fight nonetheless.
But Vital, he does have Flash, but can he get out of this one? Nice predict, as not many other places to go, to be honest. Vital will be going down as Duckdom is going to pick up that kill.
And with Vital dead, that's the largest source of burst damage gone for Nongshim. Might be what DRX needs to go in and close out this game. Baron gonna get started up, but Nongshim, they're gonna give it their all, Valdez.
All right, one last try, I suppose. Fate kind of in an awkward spot.
Oh, reliable.
Yeah.
As the Sterex.
Looking for the angle. As, Barrel's going very far deep into there. As you will Wild Growth just to bait all along. As, okay, he's getting pretty low, and you see Bait on the backside kind of being hunted down by Fiesta, as Barrel will go down, but not if for the trade here onto Dindin, as Bait is pretty low. He goes into that stopwatch, and he goes down as well.
Vital's here.
Yeah, Vital makes his way over, but Duckdom's still alive, trying to fight this one front to back with the Ornn here. As Duckdom pushes forward, just cruising into the enemies. As finally the tidal wave will stop him.
And with no jungler available, they're gonna start it up again. I don't know if they can.
Sure they can.
Peter still have heal. Vital is here, has no third item done just yet, but yeah, I don't know about this one. You are behind the Baron. That's not a good place to be, but looks like without the cooldowns, the damage isn't quite there, and it's a little
Culling soon.
Second.
A little bit of a burst damage. Nope, not quite going to happen. So there is the Baron over to the side of DRX.
It got a lot
이번에 얘네 여기
closer
놓아두긴
than
하다.
it
좀
needed to be.
깊은데?
There Valdez. As a great predict here. On that one. And then this is the story of a crocodile, surprising Lulu. Even with Duckdom making his way over, Dundon is actually able in the end to take down Barrow, and that's not a great trade, but with Fiesta also taking the gate, he actually takes away a lot of the attention from Fate, who then gets surprised. Nice bubble by Peter here, and if it isn't for Duckdom being the one alive, DRX could have lost this fight, right? Like,
good shield bow upgrade.
well, I mean, yeah.
Value, high
Hell
value.
yeah, look at this. Didn't even need it.
Yeah, didn't even need it. Huge.
And now with the Baron buff available, DRX should have all they need to truly close out this game. And it felt like it ended quite a while ago, but Nongshim were still showing signs of life.
Yeah.
As again.
In the brush. That is one scary, sneaky croc.
Oh, he can slice and dice off.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Duckdom. That's not a safe bush.
No, they're gonna have Rascal check it. I love that.
All right, well, they're still trying to get out of this area. Not gonna work out this time. Rascal's just gonna stopwatch and say no to that because they have Fate pushing in mid and getting a huge amount of value at this moment in time.
Hey, gotta try and go for the bait.
Sure.
Sometimes it'll work. Not this time. Oh no.
Uh-oh. It's going to be a big knockup on a 3 as huge damage. The polymorph is so nicely timed on the Fiesta. No way for him to get out. As the Lulu mechanics do come in, Fate is in that back line as well. Just rotate simply over from mid. And this should be it here for the side of DRX. They're going to take down Dindin. Nice bubble as they're going pretty deep. It's not the cleanest dive I've ever seen, but DRX will surely get it done in the end. As Dindin, he'll have a back and a dream, but in 27 minutes, DRX will get the job done and take down the Nexus for the third time tonight, winning 2-1. As the polymorph once again, Dindin just wants one more kill. He will be granted it, but only that. As down goes the Nexus and DRX win.
History will not repeat itself. Valdez, DRX will not fall a second time to Nongshim. They were the only team that lost to Nongshim up until now. Nongshim 1-13. It was a hard-fought battle, but with the draft the way it was, Nongshim had only one choice. As Peter and Juan, of course. Very cute, wholesome moment there. as we wait for for Juon to actually catch up.
He's got too many friends on that team,
He does. Yeah. Don't forget, Juon and Bei used to be a combo that played on Nongshim, so sure that he was very familiar with the players. And Rascal, yeah, not the type for festivities.
He gives us a little smile. That's all I wanted to see.
We haven't seen a lot of that. And Juon coming up huge ever since he came in. Even I, as you know, I'm a big Croco fan, this is known, but has been doing a very important job in stabilizing this team, taking away a lot of the inconsistencies. Fate wasn't the main character today, but had a great LeBlanc game.
Yeah.
Was able to apply a ton of pressure, but
good,
for me,
consistent work.
It was Dogdom and Rascal. Dogdom.
That's him right there.
That's him.
Yeah.
On the Zeri. Just extremely clean game. Look at that. A wry smile. Arm looks to be doing a lot better as well. And DRX, it is a win that is not going to matter that much for the standings, although they will get closer now to Guangdong. And they might even eventually catch up to Brion if they do keep winning.
Yeah.
And I know that
7th place is not the greatest result, but it's certainly better than 10th, and it sets you up for summer in a good light, you know?
It's a bounce back, and I think the players themselves, I'm not sure in which interview, but I remember them talking as well, like, we just want like 3 or 4 wins, so, you know, to end our season on a better note. We know spring's done. We didn't get what we wanted. We didn't get the type of team play, the coherency. But it is going to be a new opportunity when summer does roll around. And yeah, this is a 10th place team, a challenger team that has severely struggled in the LCK. But sometimes you just need a win, Valdez. And that is what DRX were able to pick up here today.
It was relatively clean as well. I mean, there was this fight where Nongshim actually, they showcased what their comp is capable of, which I always really like. I don't like when teams kind of just, you know, sit back and, oh, we lost, okay, we can't do much, let's just wait for them to push. Like, they got their engage. This re-engage was not great, but like, just to have the fighting spirit to go on in and say, hey, we drafted Lissandra, Renekton, Wukong, we might as well press our buttons and get something going. So they had a couple chances. Wasn't meant to be. Even here, you know,
gotta give it a go.
Wasn't like a super clean win to the side of DRX or anything. So gave it the old college try, you know.
Really did. Wasn't enough, but up until the very end, right, with the trap that Dundun tried to set up here. And then, that line up there for Rascal, very nicely done. Had some issues in the early game, but really fought his way back into this one. An important win here for DRX. As you point out, not the cleanest. That game number 2 in particular going to kind of stand out as the return of some of their more unfortunate tendencies, but in this final one, even with some messiness, still a very decisive victory in not only this game, but in game number 1 as well. The games that they won, they did look like they were in a pretty commanding position.
Yeah. Rascal was like taking his gum out as Renekton is just like attacking the Lulu. The game was over, and Rascal, the warrior mage assassin Ornn, did the most damage in the game. What can you say? The Ornn pick doesn't matter. Rascal's still able to carry in some sense. And
yeah. No one should take a big risk with a comp like this. The execution level needs to be there. We literally see both sides of this type of comp in one day, which I think is really cool. But it also puts in perspective, like, how strong D+ is as... For Dogdom, this feels much better than if he had gotten his 1000th kill and then lost. So I'm happy that it ends with him winning. And
just want to see more Ezreal and Aphelios for this guy.
Oh yeah, look at that! Look at that jump as well.
Yeah.
And Zeri gets a lot of kills. Okay, like Zeri's
newer than anyone else.
Well, and also Zeri's the queen of Pensas, so says a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure Dogdom has at least one on that champ. Either way, guys, we are done here on the casting desk. Let's go back to the space, see what they had to say about that game.
Welcome back, gentlemen, or everyone. Thank you, gentlemen, and welcome back, everyone. My brain is a little bit frazzled after what was a pretty crazy series between both DRX and Nongshim, and it all started in the draft, gentlemen. Let's wind back time just a little bit here. The draft was very reminiscent of one that we saw from our previous series today.
Yeah, I mean, DRX, I told them what they need to do. To not, I was kind of scared first time. As soon as they first picked Lee Sin, and I was like, damn, are they gonna do it again? But thank God this time they know that they built a comp around it. Lee Sin jungle with the LeBlanc pick, it was good, and they picked Warren. But Oli lane was kind of scuffy, but I think they played really well around like 2v2 situation and 3v3, the skirmishes. It was pretty fine.
One of the concerns I had was the LeBlanc pick here for DRX, because obviously it's face up into the Lissandra counter pick that Nongshim can pick up here, but the performance we saw from Fiesta, not quite as good as what we've seen from Showmaker on this pick when he's given the opportunity to counter pick. Great game though from Vital again on the Lucian, and I think once again Sylvie is proving that he is very good at Wukong and is very good at Wukong engage, punishing DRX many times. And the game, I think, much closer than we expected, considering I think we all kind of agreed this was a better draft for DRX.
Yeah, a couple of differences in the DK draft and what has been drafted here. Of course, Renekton subbed in and the Wukong there as well. So a little bit different to the Jace Viego that we saw, but a very similar flavor. We're going to jump into our first highlight, though, because this is really what changed it for DRX, and that's the fact that Rascal gets this huge advantage after being shut out in lane very early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really depressing performance by Nongshim. The reason why, I mean, if you pick the Renekton, the first hero fight, it has to be guaranteed that you have to win. If you lose, especially against Ornn, we put these two highlights combined. The reason why you pick Renekton and you lost the 2v2 against Ornn, who goes after level 13, post 13, post 14. You can keep upgrade the item. Each item in value is like more than 1,000 gold these days. It's crazy amount the later on the value. You have to snowball all the game, but they extremely failed it.
Yeah, especially on the other parts of the map too. Like Fiesta's falling behind, Vital isn't getting the advantages he wants, so you're losing all these fights and giving all this gold over to a team that is going to naturally scale better. So you need to see a little more decisive plays around these objectives and cleaner target selection, because they had the engage, but the follow-up was really all over the place.
Yeah, and the difficult thing about winning a fight at that point in the game as well is that afterwards there aren't a whole lot of comeback mechanics, because the late game was already going to be there for the Zeri Ornn composition, right? And then you're trying to fight mid-game with this, Lissandra Lucian, and you have to make these plays, but you're behind the 8 ball the entire time. And it leads to our second highlight here, which is honestly just, I mean, ignore the minimap, as I like to say. This is a 4v5.
Yeah, this is a desperate attempt here from Dundun and the rest of Nongshim to win a fight here by hiding in the brush with the Renekton and turning things around. They kind of fail on the engage and they kind of back away, and then the later engage comes through from Fiesta. He actually can't get his Ring of Frost off, and then it's just really easy at this moment. Once both the Renekton and the Lissandra threats are down, just say, all right, I'm calling the Forge God, or winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different fighters that we probably could have chosen. It's just like, it was basically impossible. Because like, it wasn't like really anything creative to play from the DRX that they made it. It's just more so Nongshim just like had no idea how to fight. At the same time, I think this is like where the game actually ended. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, there was a Baron fight. Surely, I think they could have played better, but I think that also DRX didn't play like perfectly, or they could have played better a lot of the other sequences. So. Yeah. They break the Nexus down, basically.
They did, and it is very clearly a battle between our two bottom place teams here in the LCK. I think that was pretty apparent, but good to see, at least in game number 2, DRX having a little bit of fun there. Also, Nongshim being able to show their fighting spirit, picking up that victory. Vital looking fantastic on the Xayah. I think DRX, it's not the performance they wanted this season, but they're going to be happy with a win. Let's have a look at who picks up the POG this time around. I'm actually quite curious as to who it's going to be, and it's Rascal. Once again, the boom boom damage vote.
823 DPM. And yeah, you go back to, DRX being happy about this win. I think on one hand, they definitely are relieved that they did not lose again to Nongshim, because Nongshim is the only win they picked up was DRX in round robin 1. But still, I think that you expect the gameplay to be cleaner, and it's hard to stay motivated at the end of the season, so maybe this win potentially leads to a streak where we see DRX perform better in their next matchup. Because they have nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be embarrassed of at this point. You're already eliminated from playoffs, so take each match one step at a time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important as an individual player as itself, but also it's really important, like as a team, like how they can actually reach further. And 6 out of 11.
Yeah. Few votes going over to Dockers as well. Congratulations on his 1,000th kill here in the LCK. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Interesting having a look at his champion pool, judging on when he started. Of course, a lot of Ezreal, a lot of Aphelios does sort of give away the type of meta that we used to be in only a few years ago. But now things have definitely evolved further away from that. It's going to be an interesting interview, I think, talking to the DRX players about how this one has kind of, well, talking to just Rascal, actually, as he picks up action.
Yeah, he's probably got a lot to say. He's been seemingly pretty emotional this season. We've seen a lot of like pops out of the chair on wins and losses, and seems really aggressive in his shot calling recently. So I think he's probably got a lot on his mind and probably has a lot to say about the struggles that DRX has been facing.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting how, like, whatever he says, I think it's gonna be really impactful. And it's like, I also have no idea, as you said, like, we haven't really seen his emotional a lot. So
yeah.
I think it's gonna be a really good interview that we can actually see his insight 100%.
Yeah, and hopefully it shows us something about what we can expect from DRX moving further forward and especially into summer. But now it's time to throw it over to Ji-Sun for the interview translation.